la prochaine session, elle va être en anglais. Donc vous allez apprendre à réaliser un audit technique de PrestaShop 8 en utilisant ChatGPT et Gemini. Donc j'appelle sur scène Valeria de chez BelVG. Bienvenue Valeria, je t'en prie.
Bonjour à tous, merci pour joindre ma session. My name is Valeria Assetskaya. I'm an e-commerce coordinator at BelVG, and today I will tell you how we can run PrestaShop technical audit without any technical skills required. So the audit will be focused on speed and security, mostly on security, of course, and we will use AI agents like ChatGPT and Gemini. So, yeah, I'd like to tell a bit about my background. I started working in e-commerce 13 years ago. At this time, I was working as a support manager at BelVG. We were developing PrestaShop modules, and I was working closely with PrestaShop add-ons. And also, I started learning French in 1993, but I will still be presenting in English. So, being immersed into French culture since my childhood, when I learned that my talk was accepted, I was very excited and started to think of any sites which I can visit in my spare time. The very first place which came into my mind was Rodin Museum. I wanted to see the thinker, but my boss came with me to this conference, and he had different plans, and all the plans were involving the work. So at least on the slides, the thinker will accompany us. Just like the thinker, I was asking myself a question: how can I check PrestaShop security issues without any technical skills? So I have just the website link. I don't have access to server or admin panel, and I have to check these issues really quickly, find them before any hacker can do, and fix it for my clients. And I know that everybody uses AI now. I won't ask you a question if you do. I just opened Gemini and started to write a prompt. So it was a basic question: just tell me if my site is secure or not. But the response I received from the AI agent was vague, unsure, uncertain, and when it comes to security of our client sites, of course, I need to be 100% accurate and sure. And I started to research this topic, and this is how I came across videos from Gemini, where they explain how to build a correct prompt. So after watching these 7 videos, it took me just 21 minutes, and I became a prompt engineer. Well, almost. I want you to tell about this prompt structure and explain it to you. So the prompt should have 5 main parts. It's command, context, role, examples, and output format. And I will take SSL TLS encryption as an example, and we'll show you how we can build a prompt using this structure. So the first part of the prompt is the command. We tell the agent to go to the site URL, check if there is a redirect from HTTP to HTTPS, and also check if there are some insecure HTTP elements inside the links of HTML source code. The next part of the prompt is context. We define the priority of our request, and we explain the importance of SSL TLS encryption on the site. Third part is role. we defined how the AI agent will act. So we tell that you will be senior web security technical auditor. We explain what this role involves and how the AI auditor should act, what it should check, how it works. The fourth is the example. We should give to the AI agent the example of how properly configured SSL TLS encryption look like and the badly configured site, how it look like, so it knows. And the last point is output format. We selected JSON, and we also should give two options. So we should specify how the output format looks like when the check is passed, when everything is configured correctly, and how the output format looks like when the check is failed. Yeah. So as a side note, I want you to know that the prompt checks just the basic configuration. It just checks if the encryption is present or not. But in terms of certificate validity or expiration date, or if it was created by a trusted issuer, it cannot be checked by the prompt, just a basic check. And this prompt was created to be running on Gemini Pro and Gemini Flash version 2.5. But you know that yesterday, I think, the new version was released, 3.0. And we also checked the prompts, and it is working properly on the new version as well. So, yeah, SSL TLS encryption is important, but you can imagine that this is just one part of a big security infrastructure. And our team created a great list of 60 security speed elements, which should be available on the PrestaShop site. But 60 elements is a lot, you know. And we wanted to select the most important of them. And we did priority mapping. So how we do it? We select 5 of our experts. They are given the list and they define priority. We select must-have elements, nice-have elements, and good-have elements, which are not this important. So then we accumulate this data and select based on their prioritization which elements are the most important. So as a result, we received 12 high-risk security elements. And having this list in my hands, I was assigned a task to check my clients, my PrestaShop clients' security. And I was wondering if there are any tools available on the internet which could do this task. So I started to search for them, and of course I did find some. But basically, each element has to be checked one by one. So it means that for each separate element, we have a separate tool. And you can imagine how much work it takes to check one site, element by element. And every tool which creates the report in its own format. And I have to accumulate all this data which I collect from separate tools into one major report which I can present to my client. So it is a tedious, boring, time-consuming manual work which nobody likes. And this is exactly how we created prompts for these 12 high-risk security elements. And after that, the things started to run faster. Using these prompts, we could scan PrestaShop 8 sites. We have database of about 100 sites. So we scanned them and found that all of them had some flaws regarding security and speed. So we decided to check our findings on a larger database, and we scanned about 14,000 of sites which run on PrestaShop 1.6, 1.8. And our findings were confirmed that at least one security vulnerability is present on all of those PrestaShop sites. Next, we decided to compare countries. We took database of the UK sites, and also it showed us that the health score among the countries is practically the same. It means that from 20 to 30% of PrestaShop active sites have some security flaws. So here is the statistics from our findings. You can see that the most impressive number is that 60% of PrestaShop sites run on an outdated version. It was, I think, confirmed today on the opening speech by PrestaShop CPO. So it means for us as developers a lot of work to do. Yeah. And you might ask yourself how we could scan such a large amount of PrestaShop sites using the prompts. And you are right, we couldn't. But we created a scanner which is using our prompts, which we initially built. But it also has some developer's magic, and this is how we could run this large scan. Yeah. So feel free to use the code to access it and check it yourself. Meanwhile, I will tell you a bit how it works. Yeah, it works like a magic. You just have to insert the URL. It takes about a couple of seconds to get the report. As a result, you will receive a PDF report where all issues are listed. You can check the priority of those issues. So as a developer, you can show it to your client. As a store owner, you can check it on your own and define the roadmap to fix security flaws and problems of your site. It is a good starting point to move forward to securization of your site. And the tool is absolutely free for every PrestaShop owner and PrestaShop developer. So I want to discuss a couple of questions which we received from our PrestaShop clients. They were worried if the scanner can break the site. Obviously it cannot, because it has read-only checks. And another important question is which data is visible for the scanner. It is not accessing any vulnerable private information from the site. It accesses just the same content as Google, Gemini, AI, or any other tool does. Yeah. So security is not optional, but luckily you don't have to be a developer any longer to scan your site and check how secure it is. Feel free to use the prompts. Feel free to build your own prompts, knowing the correct structure, and check any element you are interested in. And of course, feel free to use our scanner. You are very welcome to use it. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for your attention. Thanks for joining the session. I hope you found this presentation helpful. And feel free to connect with me for any further question. Yeah, thank you. Merci.
So, do we have any questions? Yeah.
So I have a question. This system is maybe connected with any known software to pen testing, like Acunetics or other, or just your?
No, it's not connected to anything.
Okay.
It just, well, we built those prompts and extended them to work as a scanner, yeah.
So did you try to combine it with Acunetics or Burp Suite or other known software for that?
No, as far as I know, no. I will discuss it with the creator and...
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Any other questions? Nope.
No.
Thank you very much, Valeria.
Merci.
Merci beaucoup. Merci pour cette conférence. Du coup, encore une fois, sur un sujet d'actualité, l'IA.